Life underfoot. Every summer we visit my grandparents in a little town by the ocean, but I usually don't have much fun there because no one ever wants to do anything. Last week I walked to the beach alone. Except for the pelicans and gulls gliding overhead, the stretch of coast looked deserted. I was fumbling with my beach umbrella, trying to work it into the scorching sand, when I spotted a hole nearby. From another umbrella, I thought, and settled back in the shade on my own towel. I noticed the other holes, some as large as tennis balls. The wind makes umbrella holes bigger, I decided. Later, through half-closed eyes, I saw something move. When I jerked upright to survey the beach, I found that it was still secluded. Just as I was reclining again, another flicker of movement caught my eye. This time I meticulously scanned the sand and spotted two black dots poised at the brink of a hole. They resembled the heads of burnt matches. I held my breath as the dots rose out of the hole, followed by pale claws, a sand-colored body, and 6 scissoring legs. It was a crab. The fist-sized creature lingered, unsure whether to retreat before suddenly escaping down the beach, with its eye stalks swiveled in my direction all the while. It didn't scuttle, as crabs are said to do, but streaked away like a quarterback, body facing forward and feet zigzagging in an effort to sidestep shells and seaweed. From here and there came flickers of more black dots peering from more holes in the sand. Most withdrew, but a few brave crabs scurried out and accelerated past me, slowing down only to inspect what the retreating waves had left behind. Later, cooling my feet in the ebbing tide, I saw what appeared to be hundreds of pebbles in the sand. As each wave receded, the pebbles would stand for a moment, looking like tiny buildings, and then slowly sink into the sand. Again and again, when they materialized and vanished like a miniature city in a science fiction film. After a while, I walked close enough to inspect the pebbles and discovered that they were actually tiny clams. The sun was disappearing as I walked back to the dunes, and I passed a small area that had been roped off with stakes and yellow plastic tape, as if it were a crime scene. I nervously approached and read a sign that said, "Do not disturb, sea turtles nesting site." That can't be, I thought to myself, because sea turtles are aquatic animals. Then I noticed thick tracks through the sand leading back to the sea. I walked home brimming with questions, thankful that I hadn't been bored all day. Between the land and sea. Ocean beaches lie between the land and the sea and belong to both. The higher part of the beach slope stays desert dry unless there is a major storm or full moon tide. But the strip along the water, called the intertidal zone, changes from land to sea every 6 hours with every tide. At high tide, the zone is covered with water, making it part of the ocean floor. At low tide, it is cool, hard-packed sand sought by walkers and sunbathers. Beneath the surface, under bare feet and beach chairs, the intertidal zone teems with life forms. One of them, found along the beaches from New York to Florida and Texas, is the coquina clam. A coquina is 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch long, with a wedge-shaped shell. When a coquina dies, its shell opens flat and looks like a tiny porcelain butterfly, which is why coquina are sometimes called butterfly clams. Coquina live in dense colonies of up to 1,500 per square foot. Each coquina has a muscle called a foot that protrudes from its body, enabling the clam to move around. Coquina move almost constantly to follow their food supply along the coast and to push higher or lower in the sand so that they can stand just an inch below the surface. Coquina are most noticeable when the tide is going out. As each wave crashes and pulls back, the water removes the top layer of sand, uncovering the coquina. Each time the coquina rebury themselves. Coquina eat by filtering plankton from the water using tubular organs called siphons. A coquina draws in water using one side of its siphon and then spurts the filtered water back out using the other side. Occasionally, just before dawn, a naturally occurring substance called phosphorus makes the water glow, turning the spurting siphons into hundreds of tiny lights, enchantingly nicknamed fairy lanterns. High on the beach slope lives the ghost crab, which can be found from Rhode Island to Florida and Texas. This creature is called a ghost crab because its lack of color makes it nearly invisible and because it is so fast. Capable of traveling more than 6 feet per second, the ghost crab seems to appear and disappear right before your eyes. Ghost crabs belong to the land and the sea. They live on the land, digging burrows up to 4 feet long and eating sand, fleas, tiny crabs, sea turtle eggs, and coquina. The ghost crabs return to the sea at dusk to get oxygen through their gills. They also lay their eggs in the sea. Sea turtles need both land and sea too, but in a reversed manner. They live in the water, come to the surface to breathe air, and lay their eggs on land. The female sea turtle comes ashore only to lay eggs. After she covers her clutch of eggs with sand, she immediately drags herself back over to the beach and into the water. When the baby turtles hatch, they are less than 2 inches long and must make a frenzied dash to the sea in safety. Most of them don't survive the trek. Once in the sea, male sea turtles never leave, but females eventually return to the same site where they were born to lay their own eggs. Answer questions 1 through 5 based on Life Underfoot. 1. What does the author compare to a miniature city in a science fiction film? A. Thousands of newborn sea turtles migrating to the ocean. B. Ghost crabs that scuttle to the water so quickly they seem to disappear. C. Pebbles from the ocean floor that are deposited on the beaches. Each wave recedes. D. Tiny clams that are uncovered by each wave but quickly disappear as they dig back into the sand. 2. How does the author of the story most likely feel about her next visit to explore the beach? A. Annoyed. B. Anxious. C. Bored. D. Eager. 3. In paragraph 3, the phrase heads of burnt matches refers to A. Tiny clams. B. Crab eye stalks. C. 2 black dots. D. Umbrella holes. 4. Which words from the story indicate that the author will probably have an interesting time at the beach? A. I saw something move. B. I walked to the beach alone. C. I usually don't have much fun. D. I walked home brimming with questions. 5. Based on the story, what does the thick track through the sand leading back to the sea indicate? A sea turtle had traveled to and from the nesting site. B. A crime had taken place between the nesting site and the sea. C. The crabs scurried between the sea and the nesting site. D. The person in the story had dug a path from the nesting site to the sea. Answer questions 6 through 10 based on between the land and the sea. 6. For what do the coquina use their siphons? A. To breathe. B. To create light. C. To eat. D. To lay eggs. 7. Which of the following relationships is most similar to the relationship below? Intertitle is to in between, as A. Exhale is to breathe. B. Postscript is to with. C. Preview is to see. D. Transport is to across. 8. How does the ghost crab get its name? A. It moves very fast. B. Is a very small creature. C. It returns to the sea at dusk. D. It constantly reburies itself in the sand. 9. What causes fairy lanterns? A. Light from the moon is reflected off the sand. B. The coquina siphons glow when they spurt water. C. The phosphorus in the water makes the spurting water glow. D. The coquina shells lying on the beach catch the colors of the sunrise. 10. Which idea does not belong in the diagram? Intertidal zone. At high tide. Covered with water. Part of ocean floor. At low tide. Sought by walkers and sunbathers. Desert dry sand. In between. For both. Teeming with life forms. A. Desert dry sand. B. Part of ocean floor. C. Covered with water. D. Teeming with life forms. Answer questions 11 and 12 based on both Life Underfoot and Between the Land and the Sea. 11. How are the crabs described in Life Underfoot different from the crabs described in Between the Land and the Sea? A. The crabs in Life Underfoot are fast, but the ghost crabs in Between the Land and the Sea are faster, traveling 6 feet per second. B. The crabs in Life Underfoot are the color of match heads, but the ghost crab in Between the Land and the Sea have no color at all. C. The crabs in Life Underfoot are unafraid of human contact, but the ghost crabs in Between the Land and the Sea are shy and hide from humans. D. The crabs in Life Underfoot live in the sea and lay eggs in the sand, but the ghost crabs in Between the Land and the Sea live on the land and only return to the sea to get oxygen from the water. 12. What do both passages say about the clams? A. The clams are called coquina. B. From far away, the clams appear to be pebbles. C. The clams are visible when each wave recedes. D. The clams stay just an inch below the surface of the sand.